Maps, they show us where we are, where we could be, and how to get there. They show us a bigger picture. There's an old saying that you can't see the forest through the trees. That can be applied to physical locations or even relationships. And that's precisely what this video is all about. Relationship map. So sit back, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm Zombie, and you're watching 3 Dots and Resources. Welcome back, and we're talking relationship maps today. I'm going to be talking about 3 things regarding them, what they are, how you can use them, and then we're going to talk about how you can make them using a site called kumu.io, and I'll go over the process at the end. If you'd like to skip ahead at any point during the video, you can find timestamps down below in the description. So getting started, what is a relationship map? In short, a relationship map is the heart and blood, the mind of your city. It's all the characters that exist within it, at least from the player's perspective, and how they're connected together. The city in your game, as it exists by night, is chock full of characters, vampires, humans, maybe even some mages, changelings, or wraiths. That can be a lot of information for your players to keep track of, how they're connected together, who's their sire, who's that mysterious benefactor, and how does it relate? In a good use case example, the map represents their memory. It's the characters they knew before and after play begins. So the one you're looking at right now comes to us from a user named Chris on the V5 Discord server. It's a good example of what a relationship map looks like, which is pretty much a plate of spaghetti. Now let's talk about how to use your relationship map. What the core book suggests is if you're building your city from scratch, not to fill out your relationship map before you sit down with your players for your session 0. The reason being is that they're going to fill out a lot of the map for you. As they build their character and flesh out their backgrounds, purchase lore sheets, they're going to fill in characters and touchstones, their sires, and maybe some characters that they're interested in being related to for you. Let them do that work. When you're planning out the story hooks and problems that your players are going to get involved in the night, leave blanks in those plans. Like Kindred A would like to take over the management of the museum. Don't even think about who Kindred A is right now. Think about maybe who it could be, but don't fill it in until after your relationship map with your players is made, because you may see from the characters that they filled in something that'll fit really well. Maybe, for example, when you're trying to figure out which kindred should be the one in opposition of the prince, you look at the relationship map that your players helped you make and realize that one of their sires would fit very well into that position. Now you've attached the players more to the world and the activities that are going on in your city. Now, assuming that your players aren't new to the city as the game starts, you may want to consider, if you have time during your session 0, brainstorming and creating some of the important characters of your city right at the table with your players. For example, you may want to make the prince and a couple of the primogens and maybe an important anarch gang leader. This will allow your players to be able to include those important characters in their backstory. Maybe they are the childer of the primogen or the grandchilder of the primogen. Making it a collaborative effort for the things that they would know at the beginning of the game allows them the opportunity to participate in that creative process and should only positively influence your storytelling. Okay, to recap, in broad strokes, we now know what a relationship map is and how to use one, but you still don't know how to make one. And there's no perfectly right answer for this. There's no wrong answer either. If you are playing at a table with players in person, feel free to make a conspiracy board. Get creative. Take sticky notes and red string and push pins and connect all the dots and let the players put them up. That's really cool. But if you're playing online or you want to be able to take your relationship map on the go, I suggest making an electronic one. And I'm going to show you how to do that with a tool called kumu.io. And here we are. So this is kumu.io. This is a template made by a user on the V5 Discord named RiggaTony, like the pasta. He's made this template to make it easier to make your own charts. So there's this information panel, You can drop it down. There's a little key here. Now, once you know what you're doing, this is extremely simple. But RiggaTony has made a awesome little help bar. You can click on these symbols over on the right. Oh, let me open up the sidebar. And there's all kinds of tips, connection types, tags. He wrote out some really helpful information here. And if you have time, I really recommend you sit down and just read through them. So now you want to make your own charts. What you're going to need to do is open this up and fork the project. Hit fork project, and it'll take you to your own link. You follow it. It may take a moment to show up. So now we're on our own relationship map. One of the first things I recommend doing if you don't need them anymore is to delete the tips and help over here. You just click on them and press the delete button. So first and foremost, most important thing that you will use is this button down here at the bottom. In order to create anything new, you click here. We're going to select add element and create a new player. So I'm going to go over to my Vampire the Masquerade vampire generator and get a name. And there it is. So you'll see that you can move elements around by just grabbing them and dragging them. To change the information for one, you can hover or click on it, and we want to edit the label. And we want to change this to kindred. The drop down didn't show up, but it would have everything that's on the left in that little sidebar. Now I'm going to import a picture here. All the pictures that I'm going to use come from Outrage. You can find another video in my library, actually 2 videos where I've covered Outrage in the past, and I'm going to import those files now. So next we want to create a connection. So I've selected the character, and I'm going to click down here again, and we're going to add connection. Now it'll autofill our character on the left, and we're going to start typing the coterie starting point. And there, a line appears. Now, just like with the characters, we just kind of click it or hover over it. The label will show up. We're going to change the type now to coterie member, which will change its color to green. Now, let's say I want to edit starting point. I want to change it to the coterie's name. I just open the sidebar, click on it, and we can just edit the name right here. And that'll change it right on the map for us. The generic coterie. So I'm going to increase the speed a little bit and reposition everything. And then we're going to add a new character for our coterie. So we go to the bottom again and we do add element. Going to get a new name for this guy. Let's do a Nosferatu this time. Now, one thing I forgot to mention on the first character is that you can add tags. Now the tags are like minor character, player character. It changes the size of these elements. So we'll go back and do our first character like that as well. And just like with the first one, we're going to do an image. So we click on him and he appears on the bar on the left. We can import an image or use a URL. I'm going to grab an Outrage made Nosferatu image and import him. There we go. Now we need to connect him and change his type to kindred. So we'll swap him over to being a kindred, and then we'll add a connection just like before. So you see he autofilled. We're going to connect him to the coterie and then hover over it and change its type to coterie member. Well, let's pause from this for a moment. I'll show a time lapse at the very end of the video to show like what the creation process looks like. But first, let's talk a little bit about Twitch. If you're not already following and watching me on Twitch, what are you waiting for?
Don't look at me.
Oh, wait. Time out.
I'm liking this.
Again, thank you so much for coming and watching. I hope it was entertaining. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel like I missed something, or just want to tell me a story about how you've used relationship maps, feel free to leave a comment down below. I hope you're safe. I hope you're well. Take care, and we'll talk next time.